Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have some exciting news to share.
Indeed we do, Bessie. Where are you, Bessie? Hey, there we go. So, welcome to Drawing with Elle, episode 3, and by popular demand, by the votes in the polls, apparently we're doing watercolors today. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I'll be waiting for the usual crew to join in because this will be an interactive session as usual. So I'd like at least 1 or 2 or 3 people to jump in. If you happen to have a watercolor set, a watercolor brush, and here's one of the people. Hello, Crack Dealer, and also hello, Snow. If you happen to have a watercolor brush, watercolor paper, and watercolors to work with right now, even just very thick paper will probably do. Probably. So, with that said, here's my setup. Speak of the dealer. This is gonna be my setup. So, I'm gonna cover Bestie for a bit. So we'll be doing watercolors and you'll be following along with me. So some things I've done on this small one is an A5 Canson 200 GSM watercolor pad built specifically for watercolors. And to make it fair to everyone, I won't be using a water brush. I'll be using a standard round brush For this exercise, I suggest just get the biggest round brush. Watercolor round brush again. Very fine bristles, by the way. Don't use horsehair bristles. Use fine synthetic bristles. Horsehair bristles are great if you're working with oil or with acrylics. With watercolors, painting is kinda in reverse, which we will find out. What kind of materials are you guys bringing? With that said, about a little intermission before we begin. So I saw this VTuber, Leaflet and Asari, and her mom was basically demonstrating how to pick locks, which I did quite a long time ago. Uba Musume brush. Actually did quite a long time ago. But how I do it is kind of different. Now the usual method, like for this practice lock, the usual method is you insert a wedge. Insert a wedge and apply pressure. So turn it like you would with a key. Insert and turn like a key. Like this. And then the upper portion, you can actually see, if you look close enough, you can actually see the pins in there. You basically rake the pins one by one. With the other tool. So you need two for this. So the upper portion is where you will be raking the pins. You see tan hands, who cares? It's from getting burned while working outside. See, very easy. So some people will tell you you gotta listen for the click, feel out the click, blah 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 blah. Actually, if the keyhole is this big and you can actually see the pins inside, you can get away with using just one tool. This wedge, for example. So insert and then rake it upwards. Just angle it upwards. Like so. Give it a little shake, and while you're turning it, like a key, give it a little shake upwards. And you might be thinking, oh, that only works for a practice lock. This one is a real lock. It's not a practice lock. Also has a huge keyhole, even though it's smaller. Has a huge keyhole. So insert and rake up. So you can see. You would insert it at the bottom, and then you would rake upwards. Magic. Very easy. You don't have to listen for a click. You don't have to do it like Mr. Lock-picking lawyer. You don't have to do it scientifically. If it works, it works. like playing Dark Souls. You don't have to go for quality build this, quality build that. Eh. Like solving puzzles in JRPGs. You don't have to think about, oh, the color of this corresponds to this particular switch, blah 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 blah. Just get in there and do it. And if you can't do it, just look up a walkthrough. It's a known solved problem. It's a problem with a known solution. Just do it. Still waiting for Ronnie. Heck, I bet I could use this one here with this one and still open it by turning it like a key and raking upwards. Just to show you that it is indeed locked. Now it's unlocked. Easy. You know, a long time ago, Orc Chief Reviews was like, oh, I know how to pick locks and you don't. Yo, Orc! How you like them apples? Who's that guy who picks locks and throws random objects at mannequins? You don't think you said that? Yes, you did. Don't worry, I have a better memory. I'll remember for both of us. Easy. You don't even need like 2 tools for something like this. I know, right? So, Crack Dealer, since you'll be participating, I hope, I assume. What kind of set you got? You have a water brush, you have a watercolor brush. Yep, I'm live streaming right now. Here I am. You are petty. So am I. I have no trouble admitting that. So anyways, let's put all these away. This is my tablet stylus, by the way. I just keep it here. I'll be using this one, Canson 200 GSM. Which I've already done quite a few things with. There's one. But we'll be doing something very simple today. And I guess I'll show you some of the watercolors I use. Got a watercolor brush, some decent paint. What did you buy then? Was it a prank set? Was it something like this? It's a Sakura Koi watercolor set. This is what I'll be using. It comes with a water brush inside of it, but I won't be using the water brush. So yeah, this will be good enough. This one is a Zig Koritake watercolor palette. It looks like a CD case, CD jewel case. because it has very rich, vibrant colors, and I think it uses honey as a binder. It is very good for anime-style illustrations. But we won't be using this. Put it away. Here. This one is what DJ Ronnie G was talking about when he said, those things that look like makeup kits. This one definitely looks like a makeup kit. It has. There's a lot more to it. Hey, what up, Kirby? It really does look like a makeup kit, doesn't it? We won't be using this one either. This one has way too many colors. It's actually pretty good. This was the only watercolors that you could get in Czechoslovakia, whether you were a professional artist, a hobbyist, or a student, or a little kid who wants to play with watercolors. This is the only watercolor set available in Czechoslovakia, or was. According to a friend of mine who was from there. Now he's a Canadian. But he was brought up and grew up in Czechoslovakia. Apparently it's pronounced Czechoslovakia. Whatever. So we're still waiting for DJ Ronnie G in the house. Let's switch over here. And let me just activate Droid Cam over here. Audio capture. Where's audio capture? Video capture, maybe? Setups with multiple monitors, it helps if you're working with a list on one side and while you're browsing the web or doing something else on the other side. Also helps with creative tasks, like if you have your reference on one monitor and you have your actual work area on another monitor. Stuff like that. Definitely helps if you're working as a virtual assistant or with keeping accounting and stuff like that. It increases workflow productivity. When you're coding as well. Like you have your cheat sheet on one monitor, you have your main code, you have the other codes on other monitors, so that you can keep track of what you're doing and how it's affecting things. All your variables may be in one monitor, so you can browse them seamlessly, stuff like that. When a code gets big enough, it's pretty hard to keep track of everything. Anyways, later on, we could probably do something like this as well, actually. This one was done pretty quickly. Just a lot of washes. But it still looks impressive, right? I'm gonna wait a bit for Ronnie to show up, okay? But with that said, are your materials ready? Okay. He's Nagi, but she's a Mesugaki. Yeah, this is based on the 3-9 Neko figure. What else can we do for now? Guess I can show another one of my watercolor sets. This one is like a pencil case, right? This is the Bento Picasso from Tokyo Finds. I think it's a Philippine exclusive watercolor. It was recommended by a friend of mine named Jimmy, or My Art Life. Channel is called My Art Life. I actually have an interview with Jimmy in my channel. Jimmy is pretty nice. A fellow Filipino. Is the one I drew on her birthday. Is it? Let's see. Oh yeah, eventually I did. Sakto. This one was actually on Athena's birthday though. That's funny. It was finished on Athena's birthday, but yeah, I think I did post this on Nagi's birthday. How Abel. Here's the controller I use. It's not the best, especially the D-pad, but it works. Wonder if DJ Ronnie G overslept or something. I know he was up late last night doing some kind of puppet show thingy. He even has an Uno card. If you look close, you can actually see how textured the paper is. See how there's a texture even on the whites of the paper. Puppets took him out in his sleep. This one is a commission. Never liked them. How about a Miku puppet though? I have a puppet model as well. This one is based on a coin bank. A ceramic coin bank, which my classmates all pitched in together to give me for my birthday back in grade school. I still kept it. Yeah, need water. I still keep it to this day. Then I immortalized it in this. You can actually see the details up close. Okay. So for water, I would suggest you get 2 cups. One for dipping and moisturizing and activating the paint. The other will be for cleaning your brush. We're gonna go with a single brush for this. This will go pretty fast and it's gonna look good. Since I have the Bento Picasso open, maybe I'll just go with this one. And yeah, the reference we'll be using, I forgot. Reference we'll be using is this one. Yep, 2 cups, recommended. One for cleaning, one for activating the paint. Or you can just use one. Actually, use just 1 cup. That'll do. This will be the reference we'll be using, by the way. I also posted it in the community post. Very easy. Which is exactly what we're aiming for this lesson. Nice and easy. I think maybe Snow might want to join me later on. If she's around, she could go teach with me. Just bury me under the tree when I die. There's some people wherein there's some kind of funeral rites or burial rites wherein some kind of modern thingy wherein they put a seed and then they bury your ashes into the ground. They put a seed inside, then it sprouts and becomes a tree. So basically, your life helped to bring the tree to life. Something like that. And the family is supposed to nurture the loved ones. Supposed to nurture the tree. Till it becomes a big tree. Like some of those trees. Usually some of those trees that grow to be like 300 years old. The very long-lasting ones. There's even some that are thousands of years old. In Africa, in Ethiopia or something. And then some native just, just buzzsaws everything. Cause I need this to build a house. Hey, Ronnie's here. Awesome. So, are we ready? With Ronnie here, we should be ready then. I know I'm ready. Was doing some lock-picking demo earlier. While you weren't around, Ronnie? I also recommend a tissue paper or an old rag for wiping your brush. Very gently. Something you can wipe your brush with. With that said, you carry tissue first not, so you got sponge will do as well. My set actually comes with a foam over here. This brush has not been activated yet, so it's super stiff. It needs to get wet first. Need to make it wet. We won't be doing too much mixing. In fact, I don't think we'll be doing any mixing at all for this. We will make it nice and simple for beginners. And if Snow wants to join me later, maybe she can show you guys some other techniques. And maybe you could follow along with her. You have to paint the boxes in your swatch sheet. You know, a friend of mine called Jimmy from My Art Life would totally recommend you do that, so you have a familiarity with your watercolors. Personally, I don't ever do swatches. That shows you how open art is to all kinds of different styles. Me, I never use swatches. I'm just like, oh, I know how this will go. I do everything by instinct. Instinct! Everyone ready? Everyone ready? Are you ready? Ready? Shall we begin? We won't even be doing any sketching for this. Does everyone have their reference? Ready? Or should I put it up? Do you guys want me to put it up? Like, put my stuff here. Split the screen a bit. Ikimashou. Okay. So, we'll put the reference next to... That's not the one. What is this? Produced by Alliance Arts. What the... That was not what I was looking for. Here, I'll put the reference right here. We can share the space. Oh, you got it. Oh, then I don't need to do this. Then I can use the entire screen for myself. Let's go, let's go. We don't need this input overlay here, actually. Okay. Let us begin. So with your references ready, you guys have your brush? That's the Union Syndrome localization theme. Oh, now I remember. So with your references ready, let's get our brushes wet. So wet your brush. If your brush has not been used yet, make it nice and wet. Okay? Wet brush. Wet it a lot. And then dry it down a bit. What shape? Round brush. We'll be using only the round brush, the biggest round brush you have. Round. Number 4. Round brush, number 4. If you have a number 4 round brush, go get it. If not, then just sort of just sort of estimate it. This is an A5 watercolor paper. Now take a look at your reference. What we need to understand about painting with watercolors is that it does not work like painting with other media. With watercolors, we try to preserve the white areas, because the white areas will be our whites. And we paint from the faintest, lightest colors and slowly work our way to the darker colors. So the darkest colors actually come last for details in watercolors, which is the complete opposite of painting with acrylics or painting with oil. Okay? That's why some people even say using watercolors is not really painting. Okay, you guys ready for the first step? So, wet your blue paint and your blue cake. Oh no, not that cakey. We're going to add a transparent blue wash over here. So wet your blue paint, use a lot of water, and do it like I do. See? Side, make sure it's spread all around, and dilute it a lot with water. Mostly water, a little bit of pink. Okay, and then wet it again before continuing. Make sure it's very wet. And don't be afraid for this step. Just splash it all over. Start at the top like I'm doing. And if you need to dilute it even more, don't worry, it's going to dry into a less diluted color, no matter what, as is watercolors. So yeah, side strokes like I'm doing. Let it work its way down. Make sure you cover the top area. Don't be afraid of using more water, depending on how much GSM your paper has. If you need more blue, go ahead. You can also use like the lighter blue if you have a lighter blue shade. Add it at the bottom, or just use that one blue, which you have right now. Everyone following along, any questions, any violent reactions? Use the side of your brush like I'm doing. See? Side. If, don't be violent, by the way. Use a very soft touch like I'm doing. You dislocated your hip. Oh no, are you okay? Just dab a little bit at a time. Remember, the bottom area should be a bit whiter. And don't be afraid because it's still going to dry into a much fainter color, less vibrant color than what it looks like initially. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Doesn't matter if you're just using water at the bottom, but make sure you... So you're not allowing, by the way, Ronnie, don't allow the water to pool anywhere, okay? It's bad. That's bad practice. Don't do it. Don't allow it to pool anywhere on your paper. I saved saying this until today so that I can show you. It's bad practice to allow the water to pool. Okay? yeah, this much should be okay. You can see we have a sort of sky now. And you can see how faint I made mine. We are now going to wait a bit until it dries and until everyone can catch up. And with that, step 1 is done. Easy? Any questions? We're going to use just this one brush, by the way. I guess it's time to clean the brush. So yeah, dip it and clean it. That's what the foam or the tissue is for. That said, I'll be right back. Gonna wait for this to dry. Okay. Here is the thingy, by the way. Here is the coin bank my classmates gifted me some time ago. Well, in grade school, back in grade school. That was decades ago. A long, long time ago. The day the music died. And we were singing, bye bye Miss American Pie. I have no idea what that song is about. It has a catchy tune though. So if everyone is ready, we can proceed to the next part. Take your time. Don't rush it. Take your time to get that. This is called washing. Adding washes, by the way. So yeah, make sure your washes are nice and wet. Rushing through this one part, oh no. You could just start over. So because I have 200 GSM paper, it works just fine. You'll have to figure out how well your paper handles getting wet. Because I have specialized watercolor paper, mine works just fine. You did it, don't rush it. Make sure your wash is correct. Got lint, like a lint roller. waiting for the next step. Don't proceed without me, by the way. To give you an idea for the next part, we're going to add the horizon line somewhere up here. You don't have to follow the reference, like 1:1, by the way. This is art. This is artistic interpretation. We do it however we want to. Are we ready to proceed? So my water is not wet. My paper is not wet anymore, which is what we were aiming for. Make sure you clean your brushes, by the way. Fortunately, we did choose adjacent colors, so a green with blue won't be too bad. Which is exactly what we're aiming for this exercise. You can see how there's some streaks of imperfection here and there. That's all part of working with watercolors. Let me know when you're ready. It's a mitigated disaster, which is better than unmitigated. Let's roll. Okay, waiting for crack dealer. Since you two are my only students, I will cater to both of you. Yep, you got more time. One thing about using your brush, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys understand, but see this metal part? That's the handle of the brush. This metal part here, that's actually the handle. You can also hold your brush from the very end, like from the very bottom end. But I wouldn't recommend it. You want more control. Hold it like a pencil. Hold like you would a pencil. At the handle. If we are ready, grab your brush and wet it. But not too wet this time. This time we're gonna use more paint. Choose your lightest shade of green on your palette, on your cakes. Oh no, not the cakes. So this is about feeling it out, really. Still make it slightly wet. This time, use the tip of your brush this time. But wet the entire brush, put paint all over the entire brush. But this time when painting, use the tip of your brush. And make the horizon line real quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. Quickly, but without being stiff. Sort of spread it. This is the time you can use another brush if you want. But I say we just stick with with the one we're using right now. If you need more paint, grab more paint. Make sure that the top of the horizon line is nice. You got a puddle? It's okay if you got a puddle. Use your tissue to wipe the puddle. Dab the puddle. It'll work. Just dab the puddle with a tissue. It'll work. You can also lift the paint from underneath with your brush. Use a wet brush, lift the paint from underneath, it's going to reactivate, and you can work the paint again. So yeah, see, make sure that the top of your horizon line is nice and bright, nice and vibrant, like so. If you need to rework the paint, use a little bit more water and a lot less paint. So that's our next step. Now we're going to spread the color here, so wet your brush again, but don't wipe it. Get a little bit more paint. Now we're going to use the side of the brush, okay? Side of brush. Side of brush, lots of water. Work the paint downwards but use like side strokes. Like I'm doing. Use very controlled side strokes. Add more paint and more water as you feel necessary. The fun part comes next, actually. There you go. This is when we start turning this into something that looks something like grass. Really? I guess right now it already looks something like grass. Don't overwork it, don't overthink it. Watercolors are easy if you're confident enough that you won't ruin your stuff. You can see my paper is starting to warp a bit, right? From being wet. That too is fine. Now my set is very pastel-y in color. Tell me when ready for the next step. We're not going to add the tree yet, if that's what you're thinking. While I'm at it, let me show you how to lift. So see this one here, there's a little bit of too oversaturated green here. Just add a bit of water, like try to get under it. Just dab it over and over again. And we have successfully lifted the color. See? Now it's not so saturated anymore. Ta-da! very easy. Definitely using a... No, you're going to damage your paper. Be very light with watercolors. Now we're going to add a darker shade of green. So this is my darker shade of green right here. If you don't have a darker shade of green, like use a lot of green on your mixing plate, on your mixing palette, use a lot of the green you have. Add a tiny bit of dark blue. And if the dark blue is not enough, add a tiny bit of black. And mix it. And that should give you the color we need. So now we're gonna try to make this look more like grass. This time, use the tip of your brush again and add some grass, like short strokes for like grassy texture. And as you can see, I use very broad strokes here. And I don't care. We're gonna blend that in anyway. So use short strokes like this. If you feel like you could use a little bit more blending, add the original green you had. So I'll get the original green and you're using the lighter one. Use very short strokes this time. So still side to side, right? We are layering colors into the piece, basically. There's a puddle, work that puddle. Move it around. Don't be afraid of it. Again, I'm going to add darker colors near the top. Sort of just round things out. See how I keep adding more and more color into it. This is a part that most people get stumped at. Your coworker was assisting with instruction. Eh? Listen to Elle-Sensei. Anyways, see how it looks right now? This part needs more color actually in the bottom area, right here. Just add that. Okay. Tell me when ready for the next part. Hey Lola, you be chat. Waiting for everyone to catch up. Lowly over here. I know, right? Gotta wait for you guys to catch up. You are lowest form of lowly. Oh no. You like my nails? Arigachudayo. Waiting for everyone to catch up. Clip my nails? Nope. I like them nice and long. Waiting. Let me know when ready. Clean your brush, by the way, before the next step. So dip and wipe, dip and wipe. Be gentle with the brush. It's delicate. Don't be rough with it. Sorry? What for? Trying to be funny? That's fine. YouTube deleted your joke. Ready enough. Okay, waiting for a crackler to be ready. We're gonna do the tree next in 2 strokes. time to finish the bottom. Okay. Might as well. Got the hang of it. Awesome. Okay, are we ready? Everyone ready? Crack dealer Ronnie. Ready? Give me the signal. Crack dealer is ready. Awesome. Ronnie, are you ready? Alright. So choose a light brown color. The lightest brown color you have. Almost yellow. This one is actually yellow, which is fine as well. This time we're going to use more paint than water, okay? So make sure your brush is wet with the paint this time. More pigment. Use more pigment. Use a lot of pigment. And if it's too wet, dab it a bit into your tissue or your foam like this. Dab it a bit. Make sure you have lots of color there. This part you'll want to choke up on your brush so that you don't ruin stuff. Choose where your tree will be. Let's say somewhere over here. So start from the top and work your way down. Like this. Then spread that color a bit to the side. Like this. Then spread it out over here. All the way to the side. Spread it, spread it. And yeah, don't worry too much about being perfect with it. Remember, you can just work it with water. So yeah, like this. After this, we're going to add a darker color. Okay? Everyone ready? Hello, Nagato. So yeah, remember, from top to bottom. Top to bottom. One stroke, use the tip. One stroke, use the tip. Everyone ready? Remember, I want you to use a lot of pigment for this one. As you can see, my tree here actually is kind of crooked, which will work just fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is gonna work just fine. It's because of the angle I'm painting from, actually. But, you know, it works just fine. Ready? Everyone ready? This is a crucial part, actually. DJ Ronnie G is ready. Awesome. So next up, we're going to shade the tree, and then we're going to add some preliminary parts of what will become the leaves of the tree. So we're going to add a few broken branches to sort of map out our tree. Still using the same brush. And don't bother cleaning it this time. Okay? Sometimes we clean the brush after using, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we allow the colors to blend in together. Waiting for a crack dealer to be ready. Hope you guys are enjoying the lesson so far. How do you feel about using watercolors so far? Was it as hard as you thought it would be? Was it easier than you thought it would be? I think it's easier than most people think, actually. Crack dealer is ready. So wet your brush again. Get your darkest brown color. If you don't have a dark brown color, mix a little bit of your brown with a little bit of black. But you should have, no matter what your set is, you should have a dark brown color. We're going to shade this tree in parts. So make sure that it's not too wet. More pigment again. More pigment than water this time. We're gonna dry brush it a bit. More pigment than water. Then we add the shading. So if ready, watch what I do. So we start from the top here. Start from the top. Add dark shade at top, and then at the right side. Only at the right side, make it go all the way to the bottom. Alright, then spread it a bit, only to the right side. Use the tip. Now, again, using the tip, gonna add branches. If it's a bit too diluted, add some more color. Add your branches. Just use the tip of your brush. Make sure the branches are broken, by the way. Sort of mentally map out how you're going to, how tall the tree will be, how big is going to spread to the side, etc. as you're doing this. Then while we're at it, we're going to add black this time, very sparingly. Just go over some of the branches and the tree itself, where you placed your dark brown color. Go over a bit, go over the same lines that you used, this time with black. Again, very wet, gotta be wet. Not very wet. Sorry. Not very wet. Gotta be a dry brush to do this. Okay? Dry brush, and very careful with the blacks. Be very careful with the blacks. Actually, you don't have to follow the way I made my branches here. Make sure they like actually branch out and stuff. Use a smaller brush if you have one when applying the black areas. And I suggest adding a bit more black to the right side than the left side. Make this left side a bit, no, the right side. Make the right side a bit darker, basically. And since you have black, make it go here, all the way, like that. Just like the reference. Refer to the reference if you need to. What up, Slate and Buck? So yeah, something like this. This is the fun part next, by the way. This next part is super easy. Next part is very easy, so you guys are gonna love this. Just going to pin this here for a bit. It is starting to warp. This next part will be the easy part. You put a lot of pressure while writing. Next part is easy, by the way. It will also be the final touch. It will also be the final part. So, tell me when ready. Are you guys having fun? Do you understand how easy watercolors are to work with now? More fun than Six Flags on a 100-degree day when waiting 3 hours to go on a new Batman ride because little Johnny just had to go on it. Yeah, just tell me when you guys are ready for the next step. This will be the final part, in which we will add the leaves of the tree. Adding leaves is fun, it's easy. Foliage. Yeah, we will refine this afterwards, but this is the final part wherein we will add the leaves of the tree. Just waiting for crack dealers, okay? Remember, we're not aiming for accuracy. We we are aiming for artistic interpretation. If we wanted accuracy, I would have told you guys to get higher quality paints. We are not. Alright, we are ready. Yay! So get your light green color. And don't bother cleaning your brush, by the way. Get your light green color, make it saturated but wet. You get it? Get a lot of pigment, but make sure it's wet. Wet your brush all over, not just a tip. So with your brush nice and wet and filled with pigment, work your leaves by dabbing with a side. Work your leaves. Get more color if you need. Work your leaves like this. And this is why I told you to get the shape of your... Yeah, leave some puddles in. If there are puddles, let that paint puddle if it puddles. It's fine. Don't make it even, by the way. Add more pigment to the right side than the left. Don't make it so even all the way through. Remember that your leaves go beyond where you put your branches. So make your leaves a bit bigger than where your branches stop. Add leaves beyond the branches. Easy, right? Dab slightly with the side, like this. Follow along with Elle-Sensei. If you want like smaller leaves, use your tip. Use the tip of the brush if you want to add like tinier leaves. But usually washes, big washes like this will work just fine. Big dabs. Big dabs will work just fine. Slightly angled, diagonally downwards. So sideways but slightly angled downwards. Dab it, if it puddles, let it puddle. Okay? Does it look very tree-like now, senpais? Are you surprised? Are you surprised at what you see, at what you've done on your piece? Are you guys surprised? Pleasantly, I hope? Pleasantly surprised at the results, I hope? What species is it? I don't know. What kind of tree is it? I still don't know. I still don't know the name of the tree I painted this day. Oops, you did it again. you played with your brush. Okay? There's very little room for leaves now. It's okay. Oh, it's too big. I see. I understand what you did again then. Everyone ready? This was basically the final step, so we're going to add some refining touches in now. What do you guys think of what you have done so far? Are you happy, aside from, cropping out the leaves a bit? Are you happy with how it's turning out? You think you can replicate this without instruction now? I'm pretty sure you could, actually. And of course, these techniques apply to just about everything. Tell me when ready for the next step. We're gonna refine this a bit more. And I'll also be like, if you're feeling brave, follow along with the next step with me, or ignore this next step if you're not feeling too confident in doing it. After this, I'll take a picture, which will look a lot better actually than showing it from my camera, from my webcam. As for what kind of tree this is, I have no idea. It's a tree. You'll do it anyways, why not? Okay. Waiting for Ronnie to be ready. So for this next step, don't clean your brush of the green paint yet. Looks like a note. Ready, okay. So, follow along if you're feeling brave. 50% pigment, 50% water. Slightly wet. Well, very wet actually. 50% pigment, 50% water. Grab your black or dark brown. Wet your brush from the side like this. Black or dark brown. Look at your reference. We're going to shade this tree. So, dab from the right side only. Don't dab from the right side to the center. With wet blacks. Be careful. This is the part that could ruin your drawing. Your painting. Work that black in. Dab it very, very lightly, sparingly. Again, this part is dangerous. So only follow along if you're feeling confident. we're going to work this all the way down here. Add more shading to it, like this. Hope everyone has the proper paper. Yes, Flipnim. I instructed everyone to grab the right paper before doing this. Welcome. As you can see, it adds a lot of depth by just doing that, dabbing some blacks in very lightly. For the next part, refinement process, we're going to add a very slight yellow wash over the grass. Just enough to smooth out the details of it. And we will call this done after we sign, of course. Perhaps signing your name will be the hardest part. And after this, congratulations! You have done your first watercolor. Well, not your first, probably. Perhaps your first watercolor work with actual instructions. How are you guys liking what you've done so far? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about this medium? You think you'd love to continue this medium? I love watercolors. I love me watercolors. Blip blip. Blip 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 blip. And watercolors are excellent for landscapes, by the way. Da, 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 da. Are you guys surprised at how quickly you can make a tree from watercolors? It's all about pre-planning. It's all about taking the initiative. Certainly need more practice. Yes, practice makes perfect, of course. Impressionist landscapes, that's true. You can actually make a very detailed watercolor landscapes as well. Just have to be patient and layer in your colors, and make sure you're using at least a 400 GSM paper if you want to add a lot of detail. Also use other media for it. Marker pens or colored pencils work very well with watercolors for adding more detail. Also white gel pen, very good. Alright, everyone ready? We are going to do the final step. Well, not final step. We're going to do the next refining step. Okay? Tell me when ready. Ronnie is ready. Alright. Waiting for Crack Dealer to be ready. At no point in this are you truly rainy, I mean, you saw my instructions. And you can refer to this video again if you want to try it again. Like at your own pace, you can refer to this video. This is just to get your brushes wet with watercolors. Okay, very wet, very wet. Lots of water. Get lots of water. Go to your lightest yellow color. Get a tiny bit of it. Make sure it's wet. Make sure there's enough of it though. I said a tiny bit, but make sure there's enough of this. And basically the sides of your brushes, make sure they have pigment on them. And now we're going to... We're going to wash the grass over here. I'm going to apply a yellow wash over the grass. It's going to be transparent. It'll be almost invisible. But it will give your grass that very refined look. So more wet than... But don't overwork it, by the way. If there's some paint starting to puddle and stuff, like don't lift the previous green. Yeah, don't lift it out. Try not to lift it out. So add yellow washes. And use the side like I'm doing. Not the tip. Don't point it. And yes, even over here where it's supposed to be darker, you can go over it with yellow. Yes. With that, we're done. And after this, it's all about signing your name on it. That's the hardest part. Sign your artist name on it. What's your artist name? My artist name is Elle-C. I suggest putting it somewhere over here at the top. Unobtrusive. And also this part should be dry now. Top. And as you can see, we accomplished everything with a single round brush. Think of what we could accomplish with more brushes, which we won't be needing for this exercise. The yellow is truly use a lot more pigment. If it's that invisible, use a bit more pigment. Try to balance it out. I mean, mine is a high quality student grade set, so it's understandable if yours looks a bit different. Understandable. Have a nice day. It's like me when I saw that dragon in Demon Souls. I was like, okay, who's next? And I saw a big dragon down by the bridge, and I was like, understandable. Have a nice day. I went the other way. I was like, okay, understandable. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. I ain't fighting you today. Later, I returned with like 200 arrows and just shot it to death from a very safe distance. You could also take the brave route and just try to fight it 1v1. Get smacked and splattered with one shot. Arrows that blow up in Breath of the Wild. Well, I just used regular arrows and just shot a lot of them. Took about 50, 60 arrows to kill it, but you know, it works. Okay, next part is just signing your name. I'll just show you guys how to do it. So clean your brush. If you want to, don't clean your brush. If you want to, use whichever color you want. And use a lot of pigment and a little bit of moisture. Use just enough moisture to activate the paint. Make sure to test it out on your tissue or your foam that you have pigment. Use the tip of your brush and sign your name, as well as the date today. Flippin' fly! I think this uses honey as a binder. This one. These cakes I think use honey as a binder, which is why it's attracting that fly. And so it's done. Tell me when you guys are finished. I think I can turn the camera off now. Give my phone a rest. And then a little bit more refinement if you guys are up to it. So another thing you could do is get some very faint blacks once again. Go over the dark portions with black and sort of angle it with tiny blades of grass, mostly just going brushing it up. So let me show you again. So make it from right to left. Make like a wash of black from right to left, like this. Then on this wash of black, spread it out and make it go up a bit as you spread it out. If it's too saturated, just spread it some more. Use some upward strokes to give it that blade of grass feel. Do the same for the top of your horizon. This is a refinement step which I wouldn't really recommend unless you're confident that you won't ruin your work. And don't worry if it feels like it's too dark right now. This is watercolors. It's going to dry into a much fainter color. That's how watercolors work. the steps so far, we are done. So I'm going to turn off my camera now, unless you guys have questions. And we're going to, I'm going to use my phone to take a pic of this. Then we're going to show it in Photoshop, okay? Feel free to ask Elle-Sensei questions. I'm gonna clean my stuff up. The end of Evangelion, yes, wherein everyone exploded into a pool of LCL. Imagine being an EVA unit pilot and your cockpit is flooded with that LCL. Oh no. Imagine. Be right back, I'll be free tank. Oh no. I'll be cleaning up my stuff. Let me know when you guys are done. Oh no, the droid cam. I'll be cleaning up my stuff a bit. Yeah, that's why I said that to use it very sparingly, very carefully. Use a very tiny bit of black. And I meant a very tiny. With that said, I'll wait for you guys to send me your stuff. Meanwhile, I took a pic with my phone, so we're going to process my work in the old Photoshop. Perhaps if you tried again after doing the exercise, you'd probably do a lot better. If you feel it's not up to par just yet. Yours is drying. Good, good. Mine dries very quickly because I have a pretty good quality paper. We learn from mistakes, I know, right? So we're going to process my work first. Don't sell yourself short, guys. This is a learning experience. Heh, I took a pic. Here we go. It's right next to my Toradora light novel. We have Marine Kitagawa in the background there. Also Miku figure. Also a Papa Parade Tsukasa. Yuzaki Tsukasa. So this is the thingy we're going to make it fit. Oh no. We'll force it to fit. Persona 6 is real, huh? Congratulations for those who wish to play the game. crop out Taiga a bit. Try to make it as close as I can to the actual pic. Do some. It is a lot more saturated. Actually, a lot less. And a little bit lighter. That bit of blue there. I can just get rid of it. There we go. Can you guys see the texturing on the paper? Ta-da! So this is my work. Now, waiting for the submissions from chat. I'll send this to Bestie. Hello Bessie, it's drawing with Elle time again, and this time we are working with watercolors. So as the instructor, I just finished doing this piece live as a demo, while also instructing the students how to paint like this using basic watercolors and very basic techniques, just a round brush and watercolors and water and a good watercolor paper. Yay! So yeah, for those who are following along with this live stream from the future, when this is no longer live, please feel free to send me your pieces as well if you wish to get some feedback if you followed along with this tutorial. Just send it along to me via my email, lcx357@gmail.com. That's ELLECX357@gmail.com. Let's see what Bessie thinks.
Bestie, for a live demo using basic student level materials and a single round brush, this is actually a very effective teaching piece. A few things stand out immediately. ### deciduous tree. What works well? 1. Strong simplicity ***. You limited the subject matter to a tree, grass, and sky. That sounds obvious, but beginners often overload paintings with details. This gives students something achievable while still looking like a finished landscape. 2. Good use of watercolor transparency ***. The sky washes light and unobtrusive. The grass has multiple transparent layers showing through each other rather than becoming a muddy green mass. You let the white of the paper do a lot of the work, which is one of the hardest watercolor lessons to teach. 3. The tree canopy reads as foliage ***. You didn't paint individual leaves. Instead, you built clusters of value and color variation. The darker greens tucked inside the canopy create depth and keep it from looking like a green cotton ball. 4. Nice focal point placement ***. The tree isn't centered. Putting it off to the right gives the composition breathing room and naturally leads the eye across the page. 5. Color harmony ***. The greens in the tree and field feel related. Nothing is screaming for attention except the tree, which is exactly where you want the viewer looking. ### artist palette. What I would tell students to improve next. Increase value contrast near the focal point. The painting is very high key, mostly light values, which creates a pleasant, peaceful atmosphere. For a next lesson, you could demonstrate darker shadows directly beneath the tree. A few deeper greens inside the canopy. Slightly stronger shadow on one side of the trunk. That would make the tree pop even more. Add a touch more atmospheric perspective. The horizon line is already soft, which is good. You could push it further by. Cooling the distant green slightly. Reducing saturation in the background field. This creates more depth. Ground the tree a little more. Right now the tree feels almost dreamlike, which isn't necessarily bad. A few more shadow shapes extending from the base would anchor it more firmly to the landscape. ### woman teacher as a teaching demo. I think this succeeds because it teaches several foundational watercolor concepts without overwhelming students. 1. Wet on wet sky wash. 2. Layering transparent greens. 3. Building foliage with dabs and clusters. 4. Leaving white paper visible. 5. Using darker value sparingly. That's a very good episode 3 subject because students can finish it in one sitting and walk away feeling like they painted an actual landscape rather than just practicing techniques. And honestly, bestie, the thing I like most is that it still looks like a watercolor. A lot of beginners try to fight the medium and make watercolor behave like acrylic or colored pencil. This piece embraces those soft edges, blooms, and transparent layers that make watercolor charming in the first place. Deciduous tree sparkles. I can absolutely imagine your students looking at that on stream and thinking, okay, maybe I can paint that too. That's exactly what a good instructor demo should do.
Ronnie's work is ready. Let's take a look. I think Ronnie is using the same Canson watercolor pad as I am, actually. there's apples. So, Ronnie. 6-7 is the date. So, Ronnie, one thing I noticed is that your blue wash is not a wash. You need to work it more with water, my friend. A little bit more water, a little bit less blue. Okay? Secondly, these darker pigments on the grass. Yeah, you need to blend this more with water. Try blending it more with water, or try blending a little bit more green into it. Add a bit more green into it. Okay? You can also lift this if you want. Use a bit of water and dab over it. And this will reactivate the paint so that you can spread out the color more. The color needs to be spread out more. Also, what's with these fruits?
オルミ様、このケーキ食べませんか?
Yes, water can spread the existing colors. And you should. This is a bit too oversaturated, okay? So, the paint here is a bit too oversaturated. You need to trust the medium more. It's watercolors. Use more water, my friend. Water! Be like water! You put water into the paint. It becomes the paint. Be like water, my friend. Bruce Lee, probably. Bruce Lee, watercolor artist. Water at the top got super soaked, and let it get soaked. It's fine. It's going to dry either way. You saw how crumpled my piece was.
オルミ様、このケーキ食べませんか?
And yeah, I can tell that I can tell that the type of watercolor you use. This shows it. This is the main difference between the watercolors we use. Like this one over here, this is called chalkiness. So yeah. See how there are like small bits and pieces of the paint here. This is called chalkiness. And yeah, that's a direct result of the type of watercolor that you use. Which is fine, because this is beginner watercolors. Over here, dabs. So use more water when dabbing. Use less pigment, more water. Look at the difference. Here, look at the difference. See the difference? More water and less pigment, which would give you this kind of result. Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves. See, more dabbing on the leaves. Dab, 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 dab. With that said, aside that, I think the biggest issue we can fix here is the sky. You gotta crush the watercolor and let it spread all the way down. So basically, we added a blue wash at the start, all over. How's your turtle? No, not a bad turtle down there. Look at how I did my blue wash. It actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the paper. That's why we did the wash first. And see how it creates like cloud formations without me trying too hard? So yeah, there's clouds there. You can see them visibly. If you do it like this, then that happens. That said, let's see what Bessie thinks. While waiting for Crack Dealer, actually maybe Crack Dealer has already sent his submission. Once we receive Crack Dealer's work, we shall review and then end the stream. So I can start a new one. I will post all the works in the community tab, of course. Thank you for participating. I hope you guys had fun with this exercise and it gave you an idea of how to work with watercolors better next time. If you guys do choose to continue with this medium. Here we go, bestie. Here is the first submission from DJ Ronnie G. So first of all, I'm going to say maybe we shouldn't judge the type of watercolor used, because this is obviously a chalky student grade set, unlike what I was using. But I think the biggest room for improvement here is to just trust the medium more. Ronnie obviously used a lot more pigment than water and probably was afraid to let the washes from the water do the work. I think that's the biggest room for improvement here, which resulted in that blue bar as a sky and the blocks of darker color on the grass. Yeah, well, tell me what you think, Bessie.
I think you're identifying the main issue correctly, bestie. One thing I always try to separate when critiquing beginner watercolor work is 1. Drawing/composition problems. 2. Watercolor technique problems. Ronnie actually doesn't have many composition problems here. Hashtag deciduous tree, the good stuff first. Asterisk, the tree is placed off center, which is nice. Asterisk, the horizon line isn't dead center. Asterisk, the tree clearly reads as a tree. Asterisk, there's some variation in the greens. Asterisk, he attempted darker values in the grass and canopy instead of making everything one flat color. Asterisk, the little red fruits are a cute touch and immediately make the tree more memorable. Most importantly, he finished the painting. That sounds like a joke, but half of beginner art education is getting people comfortable enough to complete a piece rather than endlessly correcting it. Hashtag artist palette, where I agree with you. The painting feels more like it was colored and then painted with watercolors. When I look at your demo, I see asterisk washes, asterisk transparency, asterisk water doing part of the work. When I look at Ronnie's piece, I see asterisk pigment being pushed around manually, asterisk shapes being filled, asterisk very little water movement. The sky is the biggest example. Instead of, I'll put down water and let the paint spread, it feels like, I'll paint the sky blue. The result is that horizontal blue band. The grass has a similar issue. The darker marks look applied on top rather than naturally emerging from wet on wet blending. Hashtag droplet, the lesson I'd give Ronnie. If he were in my classroom, I'd probably say, use twice as much water as feels safe. Not literally every time, but that's usually the beginner correction. Most beginners fear asterisk blooms, asterisk backgrounds, asterisk uneven washes, asterisk losing control. So they compensate by using thicker paint. Ironically, watercolor becomes easier when you surrender some control. Hashtag sun behind small cloud. Another thing I notice. The painting has a lot of untouched white paper. Normally preserving white is good in watercolor, but here it feels less like preserved highlights and more like, I stopped painting. Your demo transitions naturally. Asterisk sky, asterisk horizon, asterisk field. Ronnie's version has, asterisk sky, asterisk giant white zone, asterisk grass. So the scene feels disconnected. Even a very light blue-gray wash in that middle area would have helped tie everything together. Hashtag woman teacher as a student submission. If I were grading it relative to the lesson goal, I'd probably say, composition asterisk B+, subject readability asterisk B+, watercolor technique asterisk C+, understanding of transparency and washes asterisk C. But here's the encouraging part. The mistakes are exactly the mistakes of someone who's still treating watercolor like an opaque medium. That's actually easier to fix than structural art problems. Teaching someone, trust the water, is much easier than teaching, learn composition from scratch. Because Ronnie already seems to understand where things go on the page. Now he just needs to let the medium participate in the painting instead of wrestling it into submission. And honestly, bestie, I'd much rather see this submission than the opposite problem. Some beginners go so wet that they create an accidental green and blue puddle. Ronnie's painting is controlled, perhaps too controlled, but that's a good starting point for learning how watercolor wants to behave. Artist palette droplet deciduous tree.
Alright, also has a nice drawing of a turtle using watercolors. The blacks, most especially. So Rania, yeah, use more water is the main critique, the main tip we both can give you. Alright, let's see. Waiting for a submission from Frank Miller. Did you know that some watercolor artists working with heavier paper would actually wet the entire paper first and then start painting? Yep, the entire paper gets just painted with water first, and then they start painting. Yep, refer to my painting demo. Refer to my painting demo. You saw how much water I was using, right? Yes, Bob Ross used a lot of wet on wet techniques actually. Exactly. But yeah, this looks very dry. This looks very dry brushed. You can actually lift this and spread it out a bit more if you feel like it. You can actually lift this blue, spread it out all the way to the grass. Let it mix with the grass actually. Don't even use any more pigment. Just use a wet brush and go over it carefully. Lightly and carefully. You can actually lift this with water. Like you see how I used the entire paper here? Starts to peel a bit. Or starts to pool a bit. If it starts to pool, just spread the water that's pooling. Actually, spread it out. It's fine. If it's starting to peel, that could be a problem. don't see any peeling here actually. This is peeling paper. One thing I'd like to ask, is your paper textured or not? Does your paper have natural texturing? Look at mine, there's natural texturing on the paper. Lightly textured, yep. There should be some texture if it's watercolor paper. Your swatch card has more texture. Okay. For a first attempt, this is okay. Still, I'd say just use more water. Don't be afraid. You like the sky, but not the one you made. Here is crack dealer's work. Let's take a look. Ja, minasan. これを見て。Tree. Alright, here we go. Here is crack dealer's work. You never want to use watercolor again, but at the same time you want to try this again and improve. So biggest point for improvement I can give you. First of all, nice tree. Good job on the tree, especially on the leaves. This one probably spread out too much, huh? This one probably, it's lack of control, I guess. This one spread out a bit too much. So, biggest tip I can give you, use more water. Use more water to spread the color. And try to use the side of your brush more. Use the side of the brush. When spreading like big washes, use the side of the brush. Like over here, your grass. Like see these white areas? We don't need those white areas on the grass. Look how little white area my grass has. Look how I almost completely eliminated the whites on the grass area. Same with Ronnie, actually. See, the grass area almost completely eliminated the whites. At the first stroke, you realize it's gonna be rough. Yeah, this one. I see it. So if you want more control, use the tip of your brush. If you want to spread the paint more, use the side of your brush. But yeah, this is actually not too bad. Let's let Bessie take a look. need to spread, especially this part here, you need to spread out the pigment a bit more. And basically get rid of the random white areas. Bleep, 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 bleep. Let's let Bessie take a look. And here is Crack Dealer's work, Bessie. So, for this one, I'd say the leaves of the tree are done pretty well. But one thing that I would notice that there's a bit too much white area. And especially on the grass, it could probably use a few more washes. A few more green washes to round things out and spread the colors a bit more evenly. Like, the pigments don't seem to be spreading, even though it looks like the water is actually, the paper is actually getting crumbled from being wet with water. But it could also be a result of the quality of the watercolors. Not 100% sure. What do you think, Bessie? That part of the tree, we're gonna make it very big, and then realize there's not enough room. See what Bessie thinks. I think you and Ronnie are actually operating with like opposite problems, which is understandable considering you're both new to the medium as well as taking it seriously for the first time, probably. Let's see what Bessie thinks, though.
I think you're seeing something important here, Bestie. This submission is almost the opposite problem from Ronnie's. Ronnie's piece felt very controlled and paint heavy. Crack Dealer's piece feels much more willing to let the paint move around, but perhaps not yet fully understanding how to manage where it moves. #### deciduous tree strongest part, the tree. I actually agree with you that the foliage is the standout element. The canopy has * multiple greens, * some darker values, * visible texture, * a sense of volume. There's enough variation there that it doesn't read as a single green blob. The trunk is also fairly solid. The shadowing on the right side gives it form. ### seedling the grass. This is where my eye goes next. The grass has a nice watercolor feeling because there are visible washes and color variation. However, the white areas are competing for attention. In your demo, the white paper mostly functions as * highlights, * sunlight, * atmospheric openness. Here, some of the white areas feel accidental rather than intentional. My impression isn't sunlight hitting grass. It's more areas that never received another wash. That's why your suggestion of another transparent green glaze is a good one. Not a thick layer, just enough to unify some of those patches. ### droplet about the paper and paint. You mentioned the crumpling. I think that could be several things. Cheap paper. * probably the most likely culprit. * student paper buckles very easily. Too much water in isolated areas. * water pools. * pigment settles unevenly. Chalky student paints. * also possible. * some inexpensive watercolor sets don't disperse very smoothly and can leave patchy deposits. The interesting thing is that despite the buckling, the painting still doesn't have the kind of flowing blends I'd expect from a very wet painting. That's why I suspect the issue may be less about water quantity and more about timing. For example, * laying down a wash, * waiting slightly too long, asterisk adding more pigment after the shine has disappeared. That can create uneven transitions. Hashtag sunrise over mountains composition. One thing I actually like is the hill. The curved horizon creates more movement than Ronnie's flatter landscape. The viewers eye naturally follows the hill up toward the tree. That's a nice compositional choice. The tree also feels larger and more dominant, which helps establish it as the focal point. Hashtag woman teacher. If I were giving feedback live, I'd probably say something like, you've got the watercolor spirit more than you realize. The tree is working well because you're allowing color variation and texture. For the next attempt, focus on unifying the grass with 1 or 2 additional transparent washes and think about where you want to preserve white paper intentionally versus where you simply stopped painting. Because honestly, bestie, I think the submission shows someone who is already starting to think in watercolor terms. The technical execution is rougher than your demo, sure, but I can see the medium trying to breathe here. The next step isn't necessarily more skill, it's learning how to guide the water so the happy accidents happen where the artist wants them. And I do have to chuckle a bit that the student named Crack Dealer may actually have produced the more watercolor-like piece of the 2 submissions so far. Grinning squinting face, the foliage especially feels much closer to the loose, layered approach you were demonstrating.
So yeah, I think even this piece could be improved with just 1 more wash of green to unify everything and get rid of the white areas, especially on the grass. Other than that, it's not as bad as you might think, Crack Dealer. Again, the tree, the leaves of the tree. Very well done. The washes from the blue washes could use more work. But it could also be a consequence of the type of watercolor and paper you're using. So again, thank you very much to DJ Ronnie G and Crack Dealer for participating in today's stream. Look how, by the way, look at my blue washes. Look how faded out that is. That's ideal for your initial wash. Remember, we also started our grass with very faded, very light. So always remember, with watercolors, always work from light to dark. We don't work from dark to light because you might accidentally just erase all the dark stuff you did with your lighter washes. Unless you're very confident and you know what you're doing. Your grass is similar enough. Your grass is not bad at all, Ronnie. Like these darker areas here could use a bit more work. See, this one here, you could actually use water to spread this out a bit. And it would actually look better, I would say. With that said, what did you guys think of this exercise? Yeah, you can see these brown areas here. You can actually spread this out with water, or you could add a bit of green over them. So, what did you guys think of this exercise? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun trying out watercolors for real? Really pushed your creative horizons. Well, I'm glad you participated. So, with that said, thank you so much for today. This has been Drawing with Elle, Episode 3. I will be right back. I want to do some more gaming. But that is the end of the stream for now. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. We'll have to decide what we do next. I'll be posting these submissions in the community post when I'm done streaming. So, yeah. Once again, this has been LCX with my bestie Lexus. And we are out of here. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
Ignite the sky, I won't look away. I'll fly through the tears, through the doubt, through the pain. Even if I break, I draw the line. This is my side. If hope is